Now let's go and actually calculate this cubic graph's stationary point. And remember, the formula says derive first derivative equal to 0. So let's use the short method to go and derive this. 3 times 1 is 3, minus 1 is squared, minus 12x. And we have to equal it to 0. But remember, because there is a square there, it means that there will be 2 answers for x. And because we're working with a stationary point, we know that there will be 2 stationary points, meaning 2 turning points and 2 answers for x. All right, so we have to factorize so that we can get one term and get 2 answers for x. I'm going to first of all divide with 3 right through. So then we're left with x squared minus 4x is equal to 0. And then this last part we can go and factorize by taking out a common factor. X being the common factor, what is left? X minus 4. And that is equal to 0. So we can say that this first part is equal to 0, or the second part is equal to 0. So x is equal to 0, or x minus 4 is equal to 0, meaning that the x coordinates of the stationary points will be x being 0 or x being 4. Then we need to go back to the original, and very important, it has to be the original equation. And then we can go and substitute x back into it to get the 2 y coordinates of the stationary point. So let's first of all substitute 0. Wherever x is 0, we will now get for y. In other words, where y, what will y be where x is 0? We will have 0 cubed minus 6 times 0 squared, and that gives us 0 as well. So the first turning point has a coordinate of 0 and 0. Now for the next one, we can substitute x being 4 into the original equation. So wherever there's an x, I will now substitute 4 to get the y value for the next turning point. And then you should get, there you go, negative 32. So our next set of coordinates will be 4 and negative 32. And these are the 2 sets of coordinates for the stationary or the turning points of the parabola. Not of the parabola, of the cubic graph. Lastly, let's have a look at the point of inflection. Now remember, point of inflection means that we need to get the second derivative of our cubic graph. So first of all, the graph said fx is equal to x cubed minus 6x squared. So first derivative, we've already calculated. There you go. Now the second derivative, we just go and calculate or derive the first derivative, being 6x minus 12. And now we have to equal that to 0 to get the value for x.